Hello friends, this is Bharath again, reporting for Revsportz. At around 4 p.m. here in Bangalore, with pleasant weather around me, I take a bit of time to welcome you all to another cricket show called the Ringside View of Cricket. So what could be on today's menu, or what could be the topic on which that we are going to zoom in on? Well, it's on none other than the legendary fast bowler Jasprit Bumrah. As you know, just a few days ago, this legend from India completed 10 years of playing international cricket. We all celebrated his achievements, his accolades. So in this particular cricket show, let us look at the five stages of his evolution, and also what could be the future for Bumrah, especially in terms of the workload management, and also how he would go about his business, especially in the backdrop of all those back injuries that he has suffered in the recent past. If you look at his evolution, obviously you have to start with John Wright, who was with Mumbai Indians set up then, watching Bumrah bowl a succession of Yorkers in the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy somewhere around 13 years ago, and a season or so later he was playing for the Mumbai Indians itself against Royal Challengers Bangalore. As you know, he dismissed Virat Kohli. By then itself, there was some hype around Bumrah. Yes, it seemed like a bowler with some potential, but at that time, no one could have guessed that this bowler would become a legendary fast bowler. Again, he had an injury. He missed out on some months of cricket. Then he returned to play in the 2015 IPL, and boy, he definitely struggled in a couple of IPL games against, I think it was Royal Challengers Bangalore again, and then it was Kolkata Knight Riders. He bowled a lot of wides, and he was all over the shop. The game against Kolkata Knight Riders, where Surya Kumar Yadav explored every nook and cranny of the ground while playing Bumrah. At that time, it felt as if certain screws or nuts and bolts of his bowling mechanics were still not at the level that the bowler himself would have wanted it to be. Maybe he was not really in good rhythm, maybe he was forcing himself too much through the crease, and that is why there was a little too much of lateral flexion. Whatever it was, it definitely was not in good rhythm. But some 6 or so months later, oh boy, he was looking in some other form, not just in terms of form. He was someone who looked like had got stronger. He had bulked up a little bit. Obviously, he had worked on his bowling mechanics. His front leg was very much braced. He was hitting the bat hard on impact. Obviously, the hyperextension was coming into the equation there as well, because obviously he bowls, his arm goes a little more closer towards the batter because of that hyperextension bowling arm. And he was someone who basically destroyed a lot of batting lineups. I think he took 21 wickets in that particular Vijay Hazare Trophy. And in the final, I think against Delhi, he absolutely dismantled that lineup while playing for Gujarat, took maybe 5 or 6 wickets. And there was a delivery to Nitish Rana that still echoes in my mind. He bowled it on a short of length. It was a short of length delivery. Climbed on to Nitish Rana. He tried to pull it, and he was definitely beaten by the pace, beaten by the kind of heaviness of the ball. And all he could do was, I think, eke out a top edge to fine leg. That delivery itself encapsulated the point about his hyperextension, about his ability to hit the bat hard on impact. Maybe here is one bowler who imparts a lot of back spin, so that is why he gets that kind of awkward bounce after pitching. And Nitish Rana definitely, I think, would remember that delivery for a long time. So that was about that Vijay Hazare Trophy. Soon he replaced Mohammad Shami, I think, during the limited overs series in Australia. He made his ODI debut against Australia in 2016, where obviously he took, I think, 2 for 40 in his first game and dismissed Steve Smith. I think it was Rohit Sharma who took the catch. Whatever it is, it showcased his class in that during that tour, both in the ODIs and in the T20I series. By 2016, end of 2016, he had obviously showcased his class in limited overs cricket. He was definitely a go-to bowler for Mumbai Indians, for the Indian team as well, in the abridged versions of the game. But there were skeptics who would keep telling that perhaps was not suited to Test cricket. A lot of his performances have come in IPL, but he would go on to prove those critics wrong very soon. I think I covered a couple of Ranji Trophy games at that time in 2016. One was in Hubli, the other one was in Belgaum. At Hubli, I think there was some grass around, grass cover, and it took a lot of wickets. But then came the game in Belgaum, where Gujarat were taking on Tamil Nadu. At that time, Ranji Trophy matches were hosted at neutral venues, so don't get confused when I talk about Gujarat versus Tamil Nadu. And Jasprit bowled really fast, hit the bat hard on impact, especially while bowling to Kaushik Gandhi, who was in tremendous form, scored a lot of runs in that match, might have even got a double turn. It was a flat pitch, it didn't make much of an impact as far as the wickets column was concerned, but he definitely was hitting the bat hard on impact, and I think he was the only bowler who I believe just made or forced Kaushik Gandhi into making a few mistakes, although he didn't dismiss it. It took a year more than a year, where finally he ended up playing for India in a test match in the Cape Town Test. Again, there were skeptics. Again, there were critics who would tell you that he was picked based on his IPL performances. Actually, in his first spell, they might have thought that yes, we were right, because Bumrah struggled a bit in his first spell in Cape Town. Maybe he bowled it a little too full, but he corrected it in his second spell itself, and then went on to dismiss Du Plessis as well as De Villiers in that particular test match. He was getting the ball to bounce awkwardly on the batters in that test, especially in the second innings. He was giving a lot of sleepless nights to the batters. And that basically proved the fact that here's a bowler who hits the bat hard on impact, bowls at heavy delivery, again due to the kind of backspin that imparts, not your quintessential hit the deck fast bowler. But even then, actually, I at least thought that perhaps isn't really a swing bowler or doesn't really move the ball much by pitching it fuller. But all his critics again were proved wrong when India toured England in some months' time. That was the Southampton Test. By then, it was crystal clear that Bumrah does move the ball. But there was a school of thought that he mostly moves the ball into the right-hander and away from the left-hander. But boy, in the Southampton Test, in the first innings, he proved us wrong once again. So here was Keaton Jennings coming out with a plan to leave every delivery that Bumrah would bowl, because his left-hander thought that he would get the ball to go away from the left-hander. But Bumrah, after bowling a few away swingers, bowled one that swung back into Keaton Jennings and trapped him in front. And after that, the Hawkeye showed that he had swung at 3.78 degrees. Yes, don't get surprised by the kind of swing on offer, because that was the season where the Dukes swung a lot. You remember Anderson, Ishant Sharma, even Chris Wokes, all of them swung it over 4.5 degrees. But Bumrah by then had definitely showcased that he had all the skills in his armour. Obviously, in a few months' time, he also went on to befuddle Sean Marsh with that mind-numbing loopy slower one. And by the tour of West Indies in 2019, it showcased all his class. He could swing the ball both ways during that tour conventionally. He could swing the wall ball too. He could hit the bat hard on impact. He had those slower ones. Obviously, he had those toe crushers which he could bowl as and when needed. He could be someone who had that really good short ball. Obviously, then you take into account his hyperextension as well. So he had everything in his armour, and by then you honestly thought that his evolution is complete. But once again, I was also proved wrong. In 4.5 years in a Vizag Test against England, he took his game to another level, another plane, and that is when you thought that he touched fast bowling nirvana. This was the series, or this was the test where he basically turned into a cutter man, or you can call it a seam bowler, bowling a lot of these slower ones. And even then, you could see the kind of grip that he was getting. That basically made me think that maybe in another life he might have turned into a spinner as well. So here is a fast bowler who looked equally good even while bowling these cutters. Obviously, by then there was this Oval Test as well in 2021, where I think in one spell he bowled both contrast swing and reverse swing. So here is someone who can do both, not just contrast swing. So after that completion of the Vizag Test and after the completion of the series, where he also bowled those mind-boggling deliveries to Joe Root and Ollie Pope, that is where you genuinely felt, yes, so this is Bumrah 5.0. I think that is the level, that's the peak level of Bumrah. Not very sure you would see another version of Bumrah, but who knows with this particular fast bowler whether we are going to see Bumrah version 6.0. Yes, it's true that he has suffered back injuries. In 2022 had that back surgery. Before that in 2019 also he had a back problem. And again, as you know of during that Sydney test, during that MCG test against Australia in 2024-25, he had a back problem, and I think that was the test where he kind of aggravated that back problem. And in the SCG test, obviously, he kind of didn't bowl in the second innings or didn't bowl much in the that test match due to the back injury. So since he has come back, in the Indian think tank or the Indian management has looked to manage his workload, but sometimes it feels as if he's lost a little bit of nip in his bowling, and at times it feels as if his nip is back in his bowling. That's basically, remember the South Africa vs India test at Eden Gardens, where he genuinely felt that he was snapping his back hard, he was in good rhythm, and he was imparting the kind of backspin that you expect from him, and he got a lot of wickets in the test. But still, sometimes you feel that maybe he's a little bit careful about snapping his back hard. That's expected, right? Because he suffered so many back injuries. So what about Bumrah's future? I think the best way to get the best out of Bumrah is, I think, workload management. Maybe he has the 2.5 years of cricket left in him, and if India can manage his workload, I think they can get the best out of Bumrah. Hopefully we'll play some more matches, and hopefully, fingers crossed, he will take India to many more victories. And hopefully you like this video, and if you like this video, keep subscribing to our YouTube channel Revsportz, because we don't just cover cricket, we cover other sports as well. Thank you again for taking your time out.